Well, it's unique. The only gemstone with a rainbow of colours. Other gemstones refract light, which is simply bounce it around inside, a diamond comes out the other side. With opal, however, white light is entering what's called a diffraction grating. If you pass white light through this diffraction grating, it comes out in the various colours of the rainbow, not just as a rainbow, not as a standard rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet, but literally depending on the formation of the molecules inside the diffraction grating and the size of them, in patterns of colours, which is unique. No other rock, no other gemstone takes white light and transfers it into the colours of the spectrum.
But diamonds have rainbows.
Well, they have a sort of a scintillation of but it's nowhere near the strength and the intensity and the real patterns that change with the movement of the stone, that can make pictures. We've had Chinese writing that's actually said things. Recently had one that had a dove of peace right in the middle of it. I mean, this is unique. It's God's art from the ground. It's unique. Personally, I feel that God put it there for us to enjoy. It's really something very, very special. No other gemstone comes near it.
So is the rainbow in a diamond the same as the rainbow in an opal?
The process of that scintillation that causes the rainbow is no, it's not. The rainbow in a diamond is a bit like the rainbow passing through a glass window that you occasionally see on the floor. You'll see a rainbow sitting on the floor, and that is a rainbow. That's just red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet in that configuration. That's literally the same as a rainbow from the sky. But opal's different because the diffraction grating is various molecular sizes. If you take a shoebox and fill it up with table tennis balls, imagine that. That's how the diffraction grating of an opal works. But the table tennis balls representing the molecules are all different sizes. Of course, we're down at the nanometer level, but the sizes determine the length of the wavelengths. So the bigger ones, 300 nanometers across, turn white light into red, and so that's the longest wavelength, and you've got the brightest colour, which is red. So you get these variations depending on the diffraction grating and the way that the diffraction grating it's random, and so really, I think God set it up so that we can enjoy it. And there's a pattern, there's a colour that suits every taste, and of course the colours go with the signature dress colours for ladies, so you can have your signature colour in your gemstone. You can't have that in white diamond or red diamond or pink diamond, of which black opal, red on black, is particularly just as rare as pink. Because of the billions of dollars that's been spent promoting that idea.
But why do people keep believing that, even though when they try and sell them, they often can't get what they paid for them?
Because diamonds are forever. You don't try and sell it. That's the whole beauty of the excellent marketing. It started with Marilyn Monroe. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and diamonds are forever. You don't try and sell them. They've got an emotional value, which goes with love.
So do people buy jewellery for investment?
Sometimes, yeah, the rarest stones. Yes, of course, that's what Christie's are all about, selling $2 million red diamonds. Yeah.
What would you buy for an investment in jewellery? If you're going to put your money in gemstones or jewellery, what would you invest in?
Opal, I do it. I mean, I'm proof positive that.
What sort of opal specifically?
Specifically black and boulder opal, right. The rarest of the lot. And black and boulder opal with pattern and colour. Harlequin pattern. I'm always on the lookout for harlequin pattern opal. We've managed to have a few in our 30 or 40 years of trading, but very few,
So
relatively speaking.
when you sell those harlequins, do you sell them for what they're truly worth or what you can get for them?
Well, we sell them for what we can get for them, but that's often what they're truly worth, because people are willing to pay for something which is really rare. And in fact, I can say honestly that every harlequin opal that I've sold, I regretted selling it, because I know I'll never see another one like it. And some of them I've sold far too cheaply. Oh, definitely. I mean, that sold a harlequin pattern recently. A harlequin with a picture in it was worth literally 5 times what we sold it for. Definitely worth 5 times what we sold it for. And it was worth that to me. I would have sat on it. And I know that eventually, if I live so long, I'll realise it for 5 times what we sold it for. But we sold it. Opal's different. The only reason that there's only one reason that opals sell for less than they're worth, and that's because people don't realise what they're really worth. If rarity equals value, then the sort of opal that we're talking about is extremely valuable because it's extremely rare. Literally one-offs. There's not a piece of jade in the world, no matter how expensive, that you can't eventually find another one that's similar. But you'll never find another opal similar to the ones that we're talking about now. Those unique patterns, picture stones, and named patterns. They're one-offs. They're like fingerprints. Literally, they're as rare as individuals. Because it hasn't had the impetus, the clout of a huge marketing campaign behind it. Opal is relatively rare, well, very rare compared to other gemstones. Who's going to spend millions of dollars, or maybe billions of dollars, as in the case of diamonds, who's going to spend or even think about spending billions of dollars to sell millions of dollars worth of opal? Because that's all you can get. You can't get billions of dollars worth of opal. So jewellers will promote what they can access, what they can put on in their windows and on their shelves, in their showcases. If they can't access the material, then they're not going to promote the material. So opal is unique. It's for opal lovers. It's for opal collectors. It's for those rare people who are looking for something that's genuinely rare and valuable. So really, it's a collector's gemstone. It's for those who understand it. No, I think there's an element of that, of course. Cash is king, and if someone can make money selling what they've got, they're hardly going to promote what they haven't got. So you're quite right. Yeah, there's that downward pressure on the value of opal simply because people don't have one, and to compare it with or to sell in its place. So my answer to that sort of value is, show me a similar piece. Show me a similar piece. And show me the tag on it. Well, of course they can't. So there's the answer to that.
Mm.
No, of course not. Of course not. No, most people don't even know what it is. Opal, they'll say, with a look of, a questioning look. Yeah, often say, we're opal dealers. What's opal? Oh, they don't know. They literally don't know, especially men. But I think a good percentage of women understand what opal is because they understand gemstones, but very few understand much about it. And in fact, certainly in Australia, where all the cheaper end opal, the low end opal, the bottom of the mine run parcels has been sold in souvenir shops, most girls don't understand about beautiful, rare and bright, scintillating, luscious, beautiful opal. The first mention of opal in about 500 BC was by a fellow called Onum Acritus. He was a Greek poet, and he said, describing opal, it has the delicate colour and tenderness of a loving and beautiful child. And the first gemologist said, are made up of the glories of the most precious gems. To describe them is a matter of inexpressible difficulty, for there is amongst them the gentler fire of the ruby, there's the rich purple of the amethyst, there's the sea green of the emerald, and all shining together in an indescribable union. So that describes opal. It's
so
unique.
why is that important that a historian would say that so many thousands of years ago?
Because he was comparing it to all other gemstones and expressing its superiority to all other gemstones, and it's true today. And Australia is fortunate to be the one country left where that sort of opal exists.
So it is, historically, would opal have been positioned as one of the greatest valued, the highest valued gems?
Oh yes, absolutely. A story from Roman antiquity is that a senator in Antony's, the emperor's Roman Empire, called Nonius, had an opal which Antony wanted from him. It was about the size of a walnut and bright colours on black. And well, we can't say it. Actually, I think it was bright colours on black, but anyhow, it was bright colours, and Anthony wanted it to give to Cleopatra. While Nonius ran away, left Rome, left his family, left all of his assets, just so he could keep his opal. So that was the value of that opal to that senator in the Roman Senate. Well, when the diamonds were discovered in the Kimberleys, and Sir Cecil Rhodes said, unless we promote these and restrict their distribution, they'll be worthless. Then they also went to work on opal, which was a competitor to diamonds. Unreasonably, they rubbished opal. There's no doubt there was a campaign to reduce the value of opal to increase the value of diamonds, which was reversed. They really should have been admitting that opal was rare and really valuable, while diamonds were far more common and less valuable. However, very clever marketing. The diamond dealers gained the superiority, and easily so, because opal simply wasn't there in the sort of quantities to compete with them. Diamonds had the quantities, opals had the rarity, and as I said, unless the jewellers can get access to it, then they're not going to promote it. So they are happy to promote what they can get, which is diamond and other coloured gemstones, which are not unique like opal. So as I said, it's been sidelined, but it's there for collectors. It's probably a good thing that it has been, because otherwise it wouldn't still be available today. It would have all been mined out. It's always been a magnificent buy for a low price, relatively speaking, for a very, very rare gemstone. And if rarity equals value, then opals are the most valuable of all the commercially available gemstones. Well, if it's a red harlequin pattern on a black opal, you know that it's very, very rare. It is very, very rare. If it's as rare or rarer than a red diamond. The red on black harlequin will vary from every other red on black harlequin. The red diamond will be the same as every other red diamond. So so relative to the red on black Harlequin opal, it's true to say that the red on black Harlequin opal is rare, and the red diamond, relatively speaking, is common. There's more than one of them. There's probably 10 of them or 20 of them produced every year. But red on black, that red on black opal is unique. There's not another one like it. So what is the value of it? It has an infinite value. It has an infinite value. It doesn't have a ceiling. The value doesn't have a ceiling because it's a one-off. It's the only piece like it in the world, and it has a beauty that no other gemstone shares, so it's got an infinite value. But just have some generous person's put $1 million on it. Well, I think a good comparison is the recent auctioning of one of the first Superman comics. The auctioneer in New York knew that there was another 39 of them or something that were in existence, but this one that had been stored in a dry attic for 50 years was in pristine condition. So that sold for $3.2 million or something. Well, let's compare that to this red on black Harlequin opal. There's not 39 of them in the world. There's only one. It has not been painted by an artist. It's literally been painted in permanent position in a diffraction grating by God alone, if you like. Nobody else did it. It was, or if you think, you want to call it a random occurrence. However you see it, it's the only one of its kind. There's not 39 more of them. So why wouldn't it be worth $1 million if a comic's worth 3.2? It's up to the collector. I mean, it's a unique collectible that the collector knows nobody else will ever have another one like. Well, it's simply a reflection of, and that's true, but that's simply a reflection of the fact that there are acres of other gemstones, and in their rough form, they come in truckloads, literally. Now, of course, the truckload of amethyst or truckload of sapphire or emerald or ruby isn't going to all be gem quality. A lot of it, in fact, will have to be treated to even look good. But that's not true of opal. When opal's found, the material that's got colour, the miner will chip the skin off. Even underground, he will, in the light of very poor candlelight, literally, he'll see scintillating colour before it's ever been cut and polished, and he'll get a handful of it out of the seam. He won't get a ton of it. He won't get a kilo of it. He won't even get a pound of it. Mostly, he'll get a few grams of it, and it'll be it'll be ready to wear, literally. Once it's been just the skin taken off it, you've got a spectacular gemstone. The only gemstone to come near it will have to be faceted, ground, faceted and polished before it'll scintillate in much less vibrant colours than opal. When we see literally acres of diamonds and showcase after showcase after showcase of diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, amethysts, all kinds of rough and cut gemstones, we see a handful of opals, literally just a handful of opals, which is proof positive to me, and always has been, of the rarity of opal. And in a sense, I thank God that other people don't realise it, because they're not looking for it, while I am. Because if we were all looking for it to the same extent they're looking for the others, none of us could afford it. So what would it be for? Just for kings and princes and multi-millionaires, billionaires probably. That's really where it should be stored, because that's literally how rare it is. Look, there are simulants, but the unique thing about opal is it can't actually be copied. There's no synthetic diamond. There's no synthetic opal. There is synthetic diamond, and there's huge factories producing synthetic diamonds. There's a new one in Thailand being built right now, which is acres big, just to produce synthetic diamonds. They've worked out how to do white instead of only just coloured synthetic diamonds, so they've got a factory that's acres large that they're now producing diamonds from. But there's no such thing for opal. There's no exact opal that's man-made, which makes it unique. I mean, it's locked in, unique, and so no, you can't find a synthetic opal. You can find simulants, and there'll be a crook somewhere that'll try and sell you one as a genuine opal. No, they exist.
But it's not a present danger in the
No,
general
it's such a rare danger. I mean, if you go and buy an opal in some places in the world, through some channels in the world, you'll have a higher chance of being told that a simulant is genuine. I was even in Jerusalem, and I walked into a shop and said, "What's that?" And they said, "Nice Australian opal." And I said, "God forgive you, I might get struck with lightning." So even in Jerusalem, somebody was trying to sell me a simulant. Now, when you're an opal dealer, you can pick it up. I'll tell you straight away if it's. But if you're not an opal dealer, all I can say is buy from a reputable company.
So
get a certificate.
What would you do if you had inherited a very nice opal and you wanted to resell it? What would be the best way to go about that?
Bring it to Australian Opal Cutters and show it to us. I'll tell you what to do.
And valuations?
Yeah, we'll value it for you. And we have software that helps us to be more objective, because otherwise the valuations are going to be subjective. And even, I remember, over the years, diamonds that have been taken around Sydney town and diamond valued by various valuers come up with greatly varying valuations. But if someone knows how to use the software, you should be able to get a relatively consistent valuation from the software. Take it to any valuer. They don't see much opal, so the danger is they'll think of the last opal that they've seen and what it was worth and put a similar value on it. It's very hard for it to be objective, for a valuation to be objective. But certainly we'll give you what we consider to be an objective valuation using the software. We can't do much else, but really it'll always be worth, as a rule of thumb, it'll always be worth more than the value we put on it because of its rarity. It's unique. There's not another piece like it.
If I bought a triplet or a doublet and spent, say, $10,000 on it without understanding that it was a double or a triplet, have I been hard done by, or is that still valuable?
But I remember somebody coming to see me and saying, "What do you think of the opal I bought?" And I said, "It's a nice triplet." And he said, "What's a triplet?" So obviously when I explained to him what a triplet was, he felt hard done by. So the answer is yes.
Do they still have value though in doublets and triplets?
Yes, of course they do.
Can they be very valuable?
Yeah, they can be very valuable. Let's face it, the colour in a triplet or a doublet is natural. It comes from a slice of opal. In the case of a triplet, it's been sandwiched between a black opal base usually and a quartz crystal cap. So it's natural opal. So, but of course it's probably 100th the value of a piece of rough opal. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration. The thing is, sharing the opal around like that is sharing the love. So you take some nice material and slice it up and make a lot of beautiful gemstones. Yeah, and opal triplets look great. You can't get a better looking opal because of the quartz crystal cap on the top and the fact that it's got a higher refractive index and that it's domed to magnify the pattern that's in in the genuine slice of opal that's in between. And the case of a doublet where the opal is much thicker than it is in a triplet, of course it has value because you've had to slice up really good material. It's not treated, the colour's natural, the pattern's natural, so again it varies in value depending on the intensity of the colour, the pattern, and how much red's in it. Obviously the redder the better. When red's there, usually it's multicoloured because all the other colours are there as well. So of course it has value, yeah. It just doesn't have the value of a solid. And make sure that when you buy a doublet or a triplet, you buy it from a merchant who's willing to guarantee that it will not delaminate, which Australian Opal Cutters has always done. There's a lifetime guarantee against delamination with Australian Opal Cutters because that's the only danger that it may, the two or the three pieces may come apart. If they ever do, and very, very few of ours do, we will replace them, no questions asked.
It's been suggested that the opal is running out for various reasons. Now, how, first of all, is that true, and will that affect the value?
Well, opal's different from other gem material. You can't use aerial radiographic imaging to find where it might be or where it's most likely to be in the ground. An experienced opal miner can look at the lie of the land and say, yeah, that's possible that there's opal there. And then of course he's got to get his core drilling up and look. And so it's very expensive to prospect for opal, or he's got to dig a hole himself, go down and see what's under the ground. Certainly in the early days when there was more opal and they could kick it off the surface, or go where it rained heavily and see opal that had worked its way to the surface, it was easier. But now that it's a few years, 100 or so years down the track of opal mining, it's very difficult to work out where it might be, because nobody can actually tell us how opal is formed in the ground. It's the only gemstone that is some sort of precipitation that causes the hydrated silica to solidify and this diffraction grating to form inside it to give these amazing colours under the ground, even out of the direct light. So it's not heat, it's not volcanic, it's not pressure, it's a unique formation of gemstones. Because if it was understood how they're formed, then there'd be more likelihood that you could work out where they're likely to be found. But yes, they're a diminishing resource. No one can predict in the future if a new opal field's going to be found. There's a lot of the Great Artesian Basin where it could be. I guess, you know, it'll depend on what's found in the future. If another Lightning Ridge is discovered, or another Cupidipede, or another Corpy, then that will obviously affect its value. It'll be more available.
And has the value been affected, say, since the 1970s when there was a big boom time in the mining industry?
Well, what happened in the 80s when Cochrane was discovered, suddenly jewellers wanted opal because they could get it. So the reverse happened. And opal's in that lucky position where it'll go up anyhow because suddenly more opal, so more jewellers want it because they think, oh, we can have this beautiful gemstone now. So they started competing to buy it, and the price actually went up when Cochrane was first discovered. So that's the uniqueness of opal. It's rare and valuable. Its price keeps going up every year, maybe 10 to 15% per annum on average across the board. And when a big find comes on stream, everybody starts really competing. I mean, you can go to Lightning Ridge right now and you can line up with other buyers to buy opal, and you can't even leave without a parcel because it's simply not available. There has been another factor that's impacted the availability of opal, and that's the mining boom. So a lot of people that could be employed in the iron ore industry have left mining to get a more guaranteed income in the iron ore fields or the coal fields. Now that iron ore's come off in value, probably there'll be more coming back to mine opal, hopefully. So we'll be able to replenish stocks.
A lot of customers buy opals on the cruise ships. Do you, as a company, have a backup support, valuation, and ongoing service guarantee for those customers?
Yes, yep. They can. The good one, the more expensive ones, will come with a valuation certificate, and one's always available through Australian Opal Cutters. And we will on the better end opal, we will also, especially if people have invested to put opal into their superannuation fund, we will revise their valuations free every year. And certainly the same guarantees as apply from Australian Opal Cutters onshore apply through the cruise ships. And then of course they have the added safety of the cruise ship and their partners who own the shops.
So, final statement?
Yes, if you want to make a good investment, a gemstone that can bring pleasure to your family for generations and have true value that's always increasing, then my recommendation is